but they were both arrested the night that this happened. And so I want to go through and watch that. So we're going to go and watch that. This is Parawoman Radio, and I'm Amy. So glad to be here with you. On July 25th, 2018 at 10, what was that? Is that 12? At 152, and then it's the address. References a male kicked a female in the eye. I later determined that to be an exaggerated and aggravated battery by strangulation and battery case, both being dating violence. Upon my arrival, I spoke to Sarah Boone, defendant / victim. Sarah verbally stated she was at an unknown bar earlier in the evening when she asked an unknown male for a cigarette. Her boyfriend, Jorge Torres Jr., defendant number 2 / victim of 1.5 years. And she makes sure to say it's a year and a half, not just a year, 1 year and a half, because became upset since she was talking to another male and left the bar. They both went back to their residence located at 4748 France Lane, and continued verbally arguing. Sarah was dragged upstairs by Jorge, and she was kicked her in the right eye using his right heel. Sarah was unable to describe how she fell to the ground and or how she was dragged upstairs by Jorge. Sarah refused medical treatment. Sarah refused to write a statement and or sign any dating violence paperwork. After I spoke to Sarah, I spoke to Jorge. Jorge verbally stated they were both at their residence, verbally arguing, and have been consuming alcohol. They have been dating for 1.5 years and residing together for 1 to 2 years. Jorge attempted to go upstairs to avoid Sarah. While Jorge was walking upstairs, Sarah reached towards Jorge's throat using both of her hands. Sarah placed both of her hands around Jorge's throat and applied pressure to the extent that Jorge was having difficult time breathing. Jorge was sitting on the steps and started kicking towards Sarah to attempt to get her off of him. Jorge believes he might have kicked Sarah in her face, but was not sure. Jorge believed that if he did not kick Sarah off of him, she would have made him incapacitated due to being strangled. Jorge refused medical treatment. Jorge also refused to write a statement and or sign any dating violence paperwork. Both Sarah and Jorge stated that they have been dating for approximately 1 year and 6 months and residing together for approximately 1 year and 2 months. The left side of Jorge's neck had red marks and small abrasions that is consistent with being strangled. Sarah's right eye is bruised and swollen from receiving an impact. Both Sarah and Jorge allowed Diaz Ramirez to take pictures of their injuries. Diaz Ramirez later uploaded the pictures, and Jorge received the victim's right booklet. Due to conflicting statements and injuries on both Sarah and Jorge, I was unable to determine who the primary aggressor was. I placed both Jorge and Sarah under lawful arrest and search. Jorge was placed into the back seat of the patrol car, and Sarah was placed into the back seat of Diaz Ramirez's patrol car. I informed both Sarah and Jorge the charges that are being placed against them, which they stated they understand. Due to us both parties refusing to write statements and or signing any domestic violence documents, I was unable to complete a victim request or confidentiality form, authorization for release of confidential information form, and written statements. Both parties stated they don't want to testify and or prosecute against each other. Both Sarah and Jorge, which his name is George, but in here it's Jorge. Well, he goes by George. Was transported to the Orange County Booking and Receiving Center. Jorge was booked and charged for battery dating violence, and Sarah was booked and charged for aggravated battery by strangulation, dating violence. Both Sarah and Jorge stated they do not own any firearms. Both, my body, what does that say? My body camera was activated.
And in the end, the prosecutor decided not to press charges on either Sarah or George. Like and subscribe for more Parawoman Radio. And in the end, the prosecutor decided not to press charges on either Sarah or George. Like and subscribe for more Parawoman Radio.